Welcome to Compai's Expat channel. Everything Expat. Me and Manning are back in the studio. Today, unfortunately, we're talking about fraud.
Yes.
Fraud happens. For me, it's after COVID. It's been in the last 18 months is when I've been having pretty much all my problems. As landlords, we're always going to have a certain amount of guys trying to get over, but I've never had issues like I've had in the last 18 months. In the past, I would have a guy want to rent for 4 months starting in January and get a longer term monthly discount during the high season and then bugger out towards the end of March and stiff me for the last month. You know, that's the stuff that I had to do before. And that was just an easy fix. You got to pay the last month up front when you check in, as much as also the month of January. So that was an easy fix. But it's getting a little bit more shady. And it's mostly, unfortunately, I hate to say it, as an American, it's coming from the Americans. And I hate to say it, but it is what it is. What have you seen in the last 18 months? Or is it just me? Am I just having a string of bad luck?
Well, this thing about the scams, like always happens. You know, there are people that maybe steals your credit card of another people and just make the payment. And then the other people that got stolen make a claim of the bank, and then the bank will take you the money. Or for example, maybe that same guest can make the reservation, and then they will lie at their bank telling that they never made that reservation. So there's a bunch of method that they can scam you. So there's some few tips that you can avoid to be scammed.
Well, the reason we're doing this show is because 2 days ago, I got notified that my bank, Charles Schwab, who has my American bank account, wasn't going to help me get my money back. So basically, I had a client rent for the month of November, paid on Cash App. Middle of January, Cash App tells me that they are taking the money out of Charles Schwab, and they told me the day they did it. Like, they took the money out, then sent the email. They didn't ask me proof that this client stayed. They didn't ask for any kind of resolution. They said, we're pulling that money back. So when you're down here, you always have peers. Like, you know, you guys talk about us in your private WhatsApp groups. We just call each other. So, you know, we talk amongst ourselves as well. So, yo, Manny, you ain't going to believe what the hell happened. And this guy, you know what he did? He goes, how much? I said, man, it was $1,000. He goes, they got me for $2,700.
Yeah.
So, you know, it happens. So what Manning was telling me, which makes sense, is that this guy used a stolen credit card. He had this credit card linked up, and that's what he paid me on. So basically, he stole a month rent from me on a credit card that he stole from somebody else. So, and I've never, in 15 years of business, never have seen the stuff I'm seeing now in 18 months. It's really sad. So as business owners, we're going to make things not harder, but we need to put checks out there to make sure that this doesn't happen to us. So, Manning, what are some of the things that you do to prevent this?
For example, the thing that I do, I have different options. And one option is through my website, they can pay the security deposit. So I always tell the guests, look, the name of the security deposit must match with your passport ID. If it doesn't match, the check-in, your reservation will be canceled automatically. So,
all right, so let me interrupt you there, because if you're thinking about doing property rentals and you're thinking about either being an owner or a manager, this is the new thing that we're going to have to do. So you do the same thing I do. I need a deposit. So they can pay the deposit over PayPal.
Yes.
So if they want to pay you PayPal at check-in, the name on the PayPal account has to be the same name
Exactly.
as the. So you say, hey man,
Yes.
bust out your passport. Let me
Yes.
let me make sure.
Yeah.
Has anyone been upset with you? Like, what are you doing, man? What's the matter? You don't believe me?
No, the thing. Well, the guys have two options. If he wants to pay through PayPal, he must understand that he must pay 6% more. So that's why I always charge them the deposit that is $200. So 200 plus 6% is $212, and he can pay in cash to save some fees. So for example, normally all my guests that want to save money, they just pay the deposit and they just bring cash with them. So in case that they don't have, let's say, money or something, or I feel that there's something weird, I just tell them, look, send your money through Western Union or Caribbean Express or other MoneyGram or something like that to yourself and just bring the cash. At least I have the deposit that will cover you for one night, but then after that night, if you don't pay, sadly, the security or anyone in the building will take you out. So normally they always send the money or they will bring cash. But there's something. If I trust the guest or if a guest or is a guest that he stayed with me a long time ago, I'll just trust him, and because I know that those guests are returning customers, and I know that they will not make a fraud or they will not steal a credit card of another one. But there's some tips that you can use for your prevention.
Yeah, it's a different world now.
Yeah.
It's. I used to never take deposits. I didn't start taking deposits really until 2 years ago. After COVID, everything really, really changed. And then I noticed after 2021, it changed again, going into 2022. It's a different world. So, we're going to have to, the businesses in Sosua, if you want to do this, you're going to have to treat it like you would do it back home. It's no more the honor system. It's no more I take you as your word. There's no more, it's a handshake. John, you know me. No, well, you know what? It just doesn't work anymore. I'm sorry. We have to, protect our investments, and Manning has to protect his clients.
Yeah.
So it's getting to a point. The other thing that I've noticed is a lot of guys are trying to come down here and they want to rent your apartment long term, and then they want to re-rent it. That's another thing that I've had guys who are trying to do it that way. They want to set up a business using your business. Have you seen that?
Yeah. Well, the thing is that my apartments, to be honest, they are not the cheapest. So I will not make a discount like that because most of my apartments are in condos, so they need to pay HOA fees. So that's why most of them are more expensive. So normally the least that I can sell an apartment, like rent an apartment, is like 800. It's very difficult to a guest like rent my apartment and re-rent it, because then he will not have like an income of that property, because it will be way difficult to advertise. Maybe he can have a friend or something that he just put it in and I'm not there, But normally a long-term guest, for example, let's say that my guest books 4 months. I charge the first and last month together at check-in time. Then I'll just go the second month, charge, let's say the 800, and then the third month the 800, and then the last month he doesn't have to pay anything because he already had paid. And it's a way that the guest doesn't tell you he's staying for long term and then he just decided to stay, let's say 25 days, so he can save money. I don't do that. I just charge first and last month. If he cancels before, doesn't matter. I already have the last month.
I've had, especially last year, 2023, I had 4 guys that were great tenants, and three out of these 4 guys said, John, I want to rent an extended time. So we agreed on a price, and every one of them said, hey, I'm leaving in 2 weeks, except for one. 3 out of the 4 said, I'm leaving in 2 weeks. So now, so when the landlords say, hey, I need a couple months security, it's because we need to do that, not because we're trying to, to make it difficult for anybody. The other thing I'm having, Manny, is I'm having guys who want to share a bed with their buddy. I've had this twice in the last 5 months. No. If you're a same-sex couple, that's fine. I don't discriminate against that. I could care less what consenting adults do. We're in Sosua. Anybody who gets uptight about anything like that, you're in the wrong town. But what I'm finding is that guys are trying to come down here on such a tight budget that they're going to say, and it happened after I put all my new sofas in, right? Because they're nice, comfortable sofas, but you can sleep on them. So they're like, hey, my buddy, you can come stay with me for 5 days a week. No, that's subletting. This isn't your home. It's a vacation rental. And I had a guy who owns a business in town. Actually was throwing keys to his so-called cousins. So no, we don't do that. So that was bad. But it's really getting more. I don't want to say it's always been professional, but now it's getting more secure. Not secure. I'm looking for a word, but I can't pull it out right now.
Well, it's a way that you must protect yourself, because if you don't protect yourself, everyone will do whatever they want with your place. Imagine that at the end, this is a business. The owners of the place already invested a lot of money. So you as the owner, how will you feel that a guest of you just rent your place and put 4 people in instead of the other 4 people renting you a room, So at the end, and you need to understand, if you have more guests inside the apartment, you will have more expenses, because, for example, water. 4 people will be showering.
There's 8 showers right there.
Imagine.
One day, 8 showers.
8 showers in one day, just because you have more guests in one apartment. So at the end, you must think about that. Or for example, the AC, for example. Maybe one guy wants to stay inside the apartment and the other 3 goes. But the AC will be working, But let's say that, for example, how can I tell? The kitchen as well, the appliances, everything consumes, the water heater, everything.
It's more usage and more wear and tear on the condo. And it's different versus a weekly rate and a monthly rate. Because what I'm getting now, this is probably one of the nicest high seasons I've had with clients. I've had great clients. But what I'm finding since 2021 is Sosua is changing. And I say this all the time, and people get angry, and it's the truth. The underfunded retiree and the cheap whoremonger are getting priced out of Sosua. Sosua is getting expensive. As inflation's making everything expensive all over the world, the Dominican Republic's following in suit. So you have all these Canadians, especially the Canadians and Americans who want to get out of their home country, are coming down here, and they're buying up everything. They're doing a lot of building in the gated communities. And they're coming down here and renting for longer. They're paying more money, but they want things to be like their home in Canada or America. And we don't have Home Depots and Lowe's down the street. It took me almost 2 weeks to get the kitchen faucet that I wanted, and now throw in the shipping crisis in the Middle East, around Saudi Arabia with the Houthis and all that stuff, it's getting harder. So we're taking our monthly rate, like my monthly rate's between 75 and 85, depending on the 1 bedroom you rent. And it's $1,300 American for a month. That's almost half off. So you throw in the wear and tear, the usage and all that. Now that's coming off my reduced profit of 50%. So, I'm questioning next year whether I'm going to be doing as many monthly rentals as I'm doing. And that's one of the reasons I'm doing this channel, is to increase my occupancy rate, to increase my nightly rate, to increase my profit margin. That's why we do business. and it goes into everything because not only do you got to worry about the people using fake credit cards, you got to worry about people not honoring their reservations. Because what a lot of people don't understand is when you say, John, I want to rent January, February, March, and I'm going to send you a reservation in October, I've taken that unit out of my marketing pool. It's out of my rental pool. I can't market that. I lost all those months. So when you don't keep your reservation, I lost all that time on marketing.
Yeah.
That's the real loser versus, nobody wants to lose money. But without having time to market that unit, we can't make that money back.
Yeah, so at the end, for those owners that are planning to rent your place, always ask for passports and deposit. It's very important, at least for guests that you don't know them and wants to book you directly. Let's say if you book through Airbnb, that's fine because in case something happens, Airbnb has an insurance and they can pay you. Once you send Airbnb all the proofs, for example, if they broke the TV or they broke, let's say, the countertop kitchen, for example, or the bed, you send them picture how much it costs. Obviously, there's some owners that want to take advantage. Let's say that the bed costed like $700 and the owner wanted $1,400. Sometimes Airbnb will not approve that. You need to be conscious as well that you need to put the correct price in case that something happens to you. And yes, as John said, every time that a person makes a reservation, there's no way to market that place. So that's why to all those renters out there that are looking this channel, please honor the reservation, because you know how difficult it is to 3 days before check-in find a guest that stays for your stay for, let's say, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's very, very, very difficult. It's not the same as the States.
Good luck.
That in the States you have, let's say, over 30, 50 million people in one state, and then it's very easy to find something. Here in Sosua, every expat that comes here have everything planned. Have their vacation planned, their Airbnb already set up, everything. So yes, at least my returning customer guests, for example, sometimes I don't charge them deposit. So there's sometimes that things happens, and they can't come. So the thing that they do, they just send me the money for the reservation. They always say, look, Manuel, I know that it's not your fault. I'll just pay at least 50 or 70% of the reservation. So at the end, it's a responsibility, but most of the guests will not pay for that, So
and guys that do that to me, between their first and last name in parentheses is DNR, do not rent.
Yeah.
And then in the comments, right, I have to have comments why, and and then. If I decide to rent to them, you got to pay me in full or not, and if you cancel, you get nothing back.
Yeah.
Because a lot of guys, what they'll do is they'll get a guaranteed place, and then the closer they get to check in, they'll go shopping around for something cheap.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Most of them, for example, for those agents or owners out there that rented their place, make your cancellation policy strict. That they just have 48 hours to cancel, and then if they cancel, you just receive 50% of the reservation. And if it's under 1 week, you will receive 100% of your reservation. Because the thing is that a lot of people out there are booking your place. They're just saying, okay, it's a flexible cancellation policy. So if I want, I can just cancel 1 day before checking for free. So at the end, it's a business, so you will lose a lot of money like that, So always put your cancellation policy strict.
That's good. Great advice.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you for watching Compai's Expat channel. Everything Expat, please hit the like and subscribe button. If you want to rent from Manuel, his description will be down below, www.thegoodlifesosua.com.
And in
Right.
case that you have any other question or you want that we talk of in a specific theme, just put it in the comments below and we'll be glad to talk about it. See you, bye bye, and stay safe.
Be safe.